Yes, Your Honor, we have.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that there was nothing left outstanding on this, I guess, the underlying facts pursuant to the rule. In other words, I want to make sure the state is on the record whether they have any objection to the expunction.
Your Honor, we have no objection pursuant to the Code of Criminal Procedure. Mr. Hernandez is entitled to the expunction given the not guilty verdict from the jury.
Okay, and have you reviewed the proposed order?
No, Your Honor, I have not.
Okay, what I'm going to do, Mr. Pospisil, I do have that proposed order. I also, I'm going to, well, or unless you can circulate it to Mr. Salcedo, I would like to have the state sign off on it. If you return that to me, then I'll go ahead and sign it and grant the expunction.
Perfect. I'll send him a copy of it right now, Your Honor.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming in.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Do we have anybody else that's ready? Mr. Herrera, what
Good
are
morning,
you here
Judge.
on? What are you here on?
Mrs. Frances Rocha, and she's in the waiting room, Your Honor.
Okay. Where is that one, Victor?
It's
Judge,
Monday.
set for a bond hearing at
Jail,
10:30.
she's listed under the jail docket at 3 because they had requested a bond hearing. And then they notified us it was just a modification of the bond.
Oh, okay. And I see Ms. Rocha. Okay.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Rago, are you handling the bond hearing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let me just pull her case up and then we'll go ahead. All right, I'll go ahead and call it. Calling cause number. Oh, I say it and then Odyssey takes forever. So give me a second. There it is. 2022-0D03891, State of Texas versus Francis Rocha. May I have announcements, please?
Samantha Rogg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
And Brian Herrera for Ms. Frances Rocha, ready to proceed, Your Honor.
Okay, and Ms. Rocha is appearing remotely, as was mentioned off the record. I guess when it was set, maybe your client had been in custody, so it was set for 3 p.m. But in any event, everyone's here remotely for a bond hearing. I have a notation about it being only with respect to maybe bond conditions. Mr. Herrera, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. So just to provide a little bit of context, Ms. Rocha is obviously not in custody. She was arrested back in September of 2021 on this offense. Bond was set at $50,000. She went through a corporate surety company, Freedom Bail Bonds, and at that point paid a $5,000 premium. Okay. A year had gone by and the case had still not been indicted, and Freedom Bonds was then requesting an additional $5,000 premium from Mrs. Rocha a year later on the anniversary of her posting the initial bail, Your Honor. So we filed a motion to dismiss under 3201. The only reason it was indicted was because we filed that motion, and now the case is before Your Honor. We previously filed a motion to modify the conditions because, she had already paid a $5,000 premium last year, and now Freedom was requesting an additional $5,000, which, is just onerous and it puts a financial, burden on our client, Your Honor. So Judge Reyes was present at the last hearing, and she granted our motion to modify the conditions of bond, but she granted a $40,000 cash or surety bond, which still left us kind of in the same predicament. And now she technically hasn't posted a bail on the new bond order. And Freedom Bail Bonds has contracted with, they've retained Mr. Mario Gonzalez, who's filed a motion to clarify, Your Honor, because technically Ms. Rocha has not posted that $40,000 bond as of the last hearing. So we are again asking her conditions to be modified so that she doesn't have to post a, annual premium, because we have no idea when this case is going to be resolved. I mean, she could technically be on the hook every year from now until, when this case is disposed of. We have spoken with Mr. Mario Gonzalez. He's in trial this week, so he wasn't able to be present at this hearing. But I guess now we're at we have the issue of she hasn't posted the $40,000 bond. But I mean, we still contest that she shouldn't have to post,
So wait a minute. So she, let me make sure I'm understanding everything because I'm starting to go through some of these entries and there's several entries. So I'm clear. I'm seeing the order on October 11th. She was originally on a 50,000 cash surety bond, correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
She posted her 10%.
She did.
And then we come back on October 11th and there is a motion to modify conditions of release. And that is where we get a reduction in the cash surety portion to 40,000. But in the
Correct.
interim, the bonding company is asking for more.
Right, and since she technically hasn't posted that 40,000, they're asking the court to clarify whether they're still on the hook for the new bond, but she hasn't technically posted it, right? So I guess that's kind of the issue right now.
Let me ask Mr. Herrera, back on October 11th, what was the request? You all filed a motion to reduce bond, or what did you all file?
Well, I don't think she qualifies for a straight PR bond, Your Honor, under SB 6. So at the very least, we were asking for a split bond, but with a significant reduction that didn't require her to have to pay this bonding company $5,000 every year until this case is resolved. So I mean, we wanted a bigger portion of a PR bond and a reduction in the cash or surety bond so that she wouldn't be on the hook for, another $5,000, if that makes sense. But the reduction was from 50 to 40. So it didn't really, she's still not on the hook for 4,000 and not really in a position to be able to afford that, Your Honor.
Okay, so just also so I'm clear, you're not just looking for a change in conditions. It has to do with this, I'll say reduction in quotes to 40,000 on the cash surety portion.
Yes, Your Honor. No, I guess we want a additional reduction, just because, I mean, she at this point, maybe she could go through a different bonding company, but she'd still have to pay the 10%. Which is kind of what we were trying to avoid in the first place.
Okay, give me 1 second because I don't know if I've ever independently just looked at the bond, myself. Like I'm thinking she got the 50,000 from jail magistrate.
She did,
Right.
Your Honor.
Okay. And then when it was reviewed again by this court, it was done by Judge.
Correct.
Okay, let me just pull up a PSR here. While I'm doing that, Ms. Rago, do you have any input?
We'll defer the court, Your Honor. She doesn't have any criminal history per the rap sheet and wanted to let the court know about that.
And there is a recommendation as well, Your Honor. It's 10 deferred right now at the moment. Still working with Ms. Rago on that, but the recommendation right now is probation.
Okay, so I also see on that last bond order, it was kind of just on it's strange because it says order on motion to modify conditions of release. And it wasn't done kind of like on one. Marissa, did we do a different bond order or was it just like one that I would consider kind of our standard bond order? Or was it just this proposed order that was provided, I would imagine?
It was just a proposed order, Your Honor.
Yeah, so we need to clean this up quite a bit. Okay, so anything else, Ms. Rago?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. What I also don't recall receiving is any type of report from PR Bond. So this is, in terms of the cash surety portion, I'm going to grant your request to reduce the cash surety portion of the bond to 2,500. Okay. So the
Thank you.
cash surety portion is 2,500. The PR amount will continue to be 5,000. What I'm gonna tell you on this though, Mr. Herrera, that's where I'm intending to go. I don't have, maybe Myrna, you can contact PR Bond right now and get me a report from PR Bond on Ms. Rocha, because she should have been reporting to PR Bond, right? So I just want to make sure we have a good report there. And once I do that, Mr. Herrera, if you all can hold on right now, because they're usually really good about sending those over. I'm
Okay,
looking at 2,500 on the cash surety. And then the 5,000 PR will remain the same, but I want to make sure we do our bond order rather than having one of these orders that doesn't really specify all the different things. So I think here Judge Reyes wrote down no contact with the complaining witness and witnesses, monthly reporting, no firearms or ammunition. You know, there are other things. Does she have any reason to be outside of El Paso County?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
She's,
So
Ms. Rocha, go ahead. I'm sorry.
you're muted, ma'am.
Okay, I go to Houston for my cancer treatment every 28 days.
Okay, so there will be limited travel, Mr. Herrera, for either medical treatment or employment purposes that will be allowed. But you know, it'll be like the standard conditions that we have on our bond order. I'm good with the monthly reporting. Are there any other conditions, Ms. Rago, other than the no contact with the complainants?
We'd request curfew, Your Honor.
Okay, okay. I'll look at that. So let me get my report from PR Bond, Ms. Rocha and Mr. Herrera. If you'll just hang on, we're going to recess really quickly on your case until I get my PR report. As soon as I do, then we'll finalize the order. Okay.
Okay, sure thing, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, just hang on, Ms. Rocha. We'll be with you in a minute. Let's go on to the next case. I think I saw Mr. Macias's client in the waiting room. So if he's here, let's bring him in. Who is your client, Mr. Macias? Is it Guajardo?
My client's name is Roberto Noy Guajardo, Your
I'm
Honor.
bringing him in, Judge.
Okay, and there's another Francisco Macias in the waiting room.
There is?
You have a doppelganger? Or,
Absolutely.
well, you know, we're just gonna bring him in. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out who that is.
Let's bring that guy in.
Double trouble. Double trouble. All right, Mr. Guajardo, I see Mr. Guajardo. Okay, it's your office. Okay, let's go on to that one. As soon as he connects to audio, we can call him. Is he connected?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. Calling cause number 2022-0D04561, State of Texas versus Robert Noe Guajardo. May I have announcements, please?
Samantha Ragg on behalf of the state. State's ready, Your Honor.
Good morning, Judge. Francisco F. Macias, filing a motion to withdraw on Roberto Noy Guajardo, Your Honor.
And Mr. Macias, do you recognize your client as Mr. Robert Guajardo as he appears here on Zoom?
I can't see him on Zoom, Your Honor. Can you?
I do see a gentleman by the name of Robert Guajardo. Sir, would you state your name and date of birth, please?
Yes, my name is Robert Guajardo, date of birth 7/24/1984.
Okay,
I saw him there, Your Honor.
okay, perfect.
Oh, I
So, Mr. Guajardo is also appearing remotely. As Mr. Macias mentioned, Mr. Guajardo, he has filed a motion to withdraw in your case. And so I have set that motion for a hearing today. Mr. Macias, you may proceed on your motion.
Your Honor, he was supposed to come in on the 14th of August or October? October, and he didn't. We called him on several other occasions and they just don't answer. So if they're not going to respond to our phone calls and if they aren't going to come to the office when they say they're going to, then we'd just rather get out of the case. There's nothing we can't give him effective assistance of counsel if he's not going to help us with the case.
Mr. Macias, were you retained or court
I
appointed?
was retained, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Guajardo, your attorney, I mean, I don't often see that happen where you retain your attorney and then lose contact. What's the issue?
I don't have a phone, and I don't know what numbers they have to contact me, but I mean, I have an email. I didn't receive anything from there. My phone is just based off the internet. I can't afford a regular phone. I live off of disability, so I only get a certain amount every month.
So you know, we do have settings. I don't know if you have seen those. Our arraignment is actually, which is basically like the first setting you would have in this court, isn't until December 13th, 2022, and you're set for jury trial on June 9th, 2023. So, Mr. Macias, are you still requesting to withdraw? I'm not sure if you all have had a chance to discuss anything. If it's any help, I can put you all in a breakout room privately if you want to discuss something and then come back to the court. But if you're still requesting with the withdrawal, obviously your prerogative on that one.
No, Your Honor, I'm still requesting the withdrawal.
Okay, Mr. Guajardo, I don't know, Ms. Rango, have you wrecked this case yet? So I know.
I don't have a rec at this time, Your Honor.
So we're at the initial stages. So Mr. Guajardo, I don't know what your financial situation is, or I mean, if you retain Mr. Macias, what your position is on the withdrawal.
Well,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
actually, Your Honor, he didn't retain me. It was his mother I think it was his mother that retained me, not the client themselves.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what that situation might be, but it does certainly sound like there has been a breakdown. Mr. Guajardo, do you have the resources to retain additional counsel, another attorney?
I'm a little bit. I mean, that's why I wanted to call around and see if he was going to do that. And of course, I need to look for one. And now that he's doing that, I need to do some research and find one that's cheaper. Like I said, I can't pay what they're asking.
So what I'm going to do is I am going to grant Mr. Macias's request to withdraw in this case, but I'm going to ask that you stay on right now because it is your option if you want to attempt to retain another attorney. However, I don't want there to be a delay in the event that you are indigent. Obviously, the court can appoint you counsel if you are indigent. The process to do that is to have you screened financially. And I can see, Ms. Hernandez, if you will check to see if someone can come on the Zoom hearing. So,
Judge,
uh-huh.
I'm looking at his application taken August 23rd, 2022. He does qualify.
Oh, he does?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Guajardo, in my opinion, I'm ready to appoint you an attorney. And then it's your option if at that point, you know, or at any point you decide you want to hire someone, that's completely up to you. But I don't want to leave you without counsel for any period of time. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So with that understanding, then Myrna, if you will just get me the next 5 attorneys on the wheel. It is a random appointment, Mr. Guajardo. So they'll give me the list of the next 5 attorneys that are on that randomly appointed wheel.
Okay.
I will do the appointment, but I actually am going to ask that you stay on because if we can get in contact with that attorney,
Yes.
whoever is representing you, you have to be able to be in communication with them, whether that be via email, or you go to their office, set up a time. So I need you to hold on so that we can get someone here. Mr.
Okay.
Macias, oh yeah, it will be Anchondo. So let's see if we can get Mr. Anchondo on here today. I know we gave him the heads up earlier. Okay, just hang on, Mr. Guajardo, I'm gonna mute you. Mr. Macias, is there anything outstanding? Anything else we need to know going forward? Other than that, you're out.
I don't think so, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Macias. Thank you for your
Thank you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we have one more with Mr. Macias.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, it's without you, Judge.